Join Team Laugh with me at the Omaha Take Steps Walk in Papillon, Nebraska, June 21st, 2025. It's taking place at Werner Park, 12356 Ballpark Way. Take steps towards cures. Join Crohn's and Colitis Foundation's largest, most impactful fundraising event. Take steps as we come together to raise funds to accelerate research, advance treatments, and provide programs and support to improve the quality of life for those living with inflammatory bowel disease. Together, we share one path, and that's forward to Mount Remission and IBD cures. If you didn't know this, yeah, I've got Crohn's disease, and you're going to hear in today's episode just how I got Crohn's disease. But you can help us help find a cure. That is June 21st, the Omaha Take Steps Walk for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, the largest fundraising event of the year. We'll see you June 21st. And if you go to the website, takesteps.crohnscolitisfoundation.org, you can sign up and join the Laugh With Me podcast team. We'll see you then. Welcome back. It's a brand new episode. This is Laugh With Me, a podcast of Jeremy Odem. I'm your host, J.O. It's good to be back for episode number 84. We are on the march to 100. We're going to get there far sooner than later. I can promise you that. Right, Johnny? Yeah, baby. You know, if Johnny's excited, I'm excited. And if you heard the top of the episode here, I was talking about the Crohn's and Colitis walk on June 21st. I also said in there, in that little minute-long spiel about the walk, that I was going to tell you how exactly it is that I got Crohn's disease. And I'm going to tell you the science behind it. And it's shocking. It is shocking. Now, how did I get to this conclusion that I should discuss this today? Well, I saw a tweet. Yeah, I saw a tweet. The tweet was, it's a picture of a television. It said, "You may be old, but are you this old?" And it's one of those giant TVs, you know, like they used to have, like, in the 90s, early 2000s, where it's like the base of it. It's one of those giant box TVs, okay, but it has the base, and it sits, a couple feet off the ground. And then it's a big, giant screen, right? Heavy as hell, this TV. Okay? But the tweet, it said, this television was a symbol of extreme wealth back in the day. And yeah, that was probably true until flat screens came about. Then you could pick up one of those. You could get one of those TVs, and you were on the hook for moving that sumbitch. Man, I saw that tweet, and it brought back some memories. Hurtful memories. See, my brother Kyle got one of those TVs. And then he moved out, got a place of his own, right? He lived on the 3rd floor, which was great because then you could have, like, the vaulted ceiling. That was always a touch, that if you lived in an apartment, you could get the vaulted ceiling. It just kind of added to the space. You know, it didn't add to your square footage, but it did add to where it felt bigger. It felt like you had, you know, a big apartment. I have a ranch style house now, and I've got the higher ceilings, and it just makes it feel like you've got like a larger like living space. And he had that first place out. He's got this vaulted ceiling, right? It's awesome. 3rd floor, except for he gets this big ass TV, and of course, you know, you're going to need help carrying this monstrosity up 3 flights of stairs. Now, here was my dilemma. He's got this TV. Awesome. And at that point, all right, you got this giant TV. That's cool. Like it's not like it is today where you go and you can buy a 60-inch for pennies on the dollar, right? And you can carry it yourself out of the store, throw it in the car, carry it inside the house. Like, I do that. It wasn't like that back then. For the younger listeners, It was a process. You probably needed somebody with a truck. You had to load it up on the truck. It was easily. I mean, 2 people could carry it, but it wasn't going to be easy. It was going to be a 3 to 4 person gig. But here was my dilemma with this. I wanted to help him. I was a young guy, strong as a bull. I could carry shit, right? Here was the dilemma is when I moved out, he refused to help me. He refused to help me move any of my stuff into the apartment. Now, I don't know why. We never discussed this. He was probably just young, immature. Maybe I said something that offended him. Who knows, right? He was in high school then. I think he was in high school then. Had to have been in high school. But here I am, big brother, to the rescue, going to carry this big-ass TV. So we carry the TV. And if I remember correct, and it's 3 flights of stairs with turns, right, to go up. If I remember correctly, this thing had to have been 200 pounds. 200-pound TV up these stairs, and it's awkward, and it's that, like, hard plastic, so it's, like, digging into your hands. I didn't wear gloves. I wasn't that smart. I carried up. No big deal, right? Then it was, like, a year later, he moved again. If I remember correctly, this is when he moved into his house. So then it was, all right, we got to carry this downstairs, 3 flights of stairs, then get it to his house, and then carry it into the house. Now, I distinctly remember helping with that as well. Wasn't very happy about it, but I did. And then eventually, he got rid of that TV because he moved on and got flat screens, and I refused to help carry the TV out at that point. But my point to all this is, when I saw this tweet, it reminded me of how I got Crohn's disease. And I believe to this day that the strain of carrying that TV put on my body twice within a year's time span caused me to have Crohn's disease. It put the strain in my colon, which then spread into my intestines and caused the issue that I have today. Now, you might be thinking, Jeremy, well, that's just not possible. That is not how science works. And that's where I'd say you're wrong, because it's always cause and effect. One thing happens, which then causes another thing, which then causes another thing. It'd be like, oh, he's got heart disease. It wasn't the stress at work that caused the heart attack. Oh, no. It was the stress at work that then made the heart attack happen. It's always one thing after another. Now, I was a perfectly healthy person going into carrying that big-ass TV. The strain from carrying that, and it's not even that. It's not even, I had to use everything within me to hold, because the hard plastic on your hands, 200 pounds carrying hard, sharp plastic, okay? 200 pounds, no gloves. You're holding it. You're trying to hold it. You're trying to maneuver. It's awkward, right? I'm using everything. It's not just arms. It's not just legs, okay? I was using full core colon to help carry that TV up and down those stairs twice within a year. I'm not a guy that moves I'm like a mover. Like, I don't move stuff every weekend for people, right? I'll move stuff here and there, especially when you're younger and you're helping your friends and family move, from time to time, or even yourself. You're moving, once, twice, maybe in a year's time. That was put a lot on your boy's body. I can tell you that much. And I have come to the conclusion that that is, in fact, how I've got Crohn's disease. Now, how can we reverse it? Well, we're still trying to figure that out. Okay, currently Rinvoq is what we're trying to do. I don't know if I need to go through if the strain of lifting the heavy ass 250 100-pound plastic TV caused it, would water therapy help? Something a little more relaxing, something to kind of help the body? I don't know. Haven't tried it. Not sure if I even want to try it. Johnny, is this making much sense to you? Because if you run really, really hard, right, and you're not accustomed to running, and you just go on a dead sprint for a whole mile and you can't breathe and it triggers something that you pass out, it was because of the running. All I know is if you help us out, June 21st, the Omaha Take Steps Walk. Okay, we are currently 11 weeks, 5 days away. So when this episode comes out, we're 11 weeks, 5 days away from the Omaha Take Steps Walk. It's the largest and most impactful fundraising event that the Crohns and Colitis Foundation does. And you know what? You can help your boy find a cure for this disease that was caused by carrying a big-ass TV. And I think that's a warning to you. And actually, it's a beautiful thing what the TV industry did, the electronics industry, of making smaller, less heavy TVs. It probably saved many lives. I bet there's more people that don't have Crohn's disease today than ever did before because they're not carrying these heavy, like, electronics. It's a beautiful thing. Let's hear from let's take a second to hear from our sponsors before you hear my next problem. All right, so as I was telling you, I've got Crohn's disease from lifting TVs, but here's the thing that I don't know. You get older, you start to, and this is kind of not a warning, but just something, if you're younger, something you're going to expect. Okay, I'm speaking out of experience now. You're going to get nose hair, lots of it. Okay, I've got so much nose hair coming in. I always had nose hair, but never quite like this. Like, it's coming in hot and heavy now. And it's sticking out of my nostrils. And then I think I always have something in my nose. And then, I'm getting allergies. I'm getting sick. I'm getting cold. And I'm sneezing. And it's just now becoming more of a thing. So here's what I was doing a couple years ago. Is I was doing those hot wax sticks, where you stick up your nostrils. And then you let it sit, let the mold sit, and then harden, and then you yank them out, and it pulls out all the hair. And that's a beautiful thing. The feeling after it is just incredible. You can breathe again, right? But I'm wondering, because I also read that the hair is a good thing because it fights off bacteria and germs and stuff. I don't know if that's true or not. But what I do know is I can breathe. Also, the hair tends to come in fuller after the fact. So I'm at this kind of unique spot now where I really want to do the hot wax sticks. I might even do it today because it's really starting to bother me. It's long. It's like at that point where I'm like shoving it back in because the hairs are sticking out. I'm shoving the hairs back up there. And I'm like, I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do. And then sometimes I'll yank them out, right? I'll just yank them out, but then I sneeze so freaking hard. And I'm a hard sneezer anyway. You guys, like, I've seen people that are like one sneeze at a time. I'm like a 2, 3, even a 4 from time to time sneeze guy. And they're like, they'll bring me down to my knees. Like, it's a hard sneeze. Like, when I sneeze, it's like I'm the quarterback and I'm doing a hard count trying to get the defense to jump. That's me when I'm sneezing. It's 4th and 2 and I'm just trying to get the defense to jump, get the penalty, get the first down. Yeah, that's me when I sneeze. And then if I hold in the sneeze It really hurts my head. So I wonder if lifting that big-ass TV of Kyle's is what caused me to have Crohn's disease, and holding in these big-ass sneezes is what causes the migraines. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Fuck. Anyway, I got this long-ass nose hair. And the worst, I don't want to keep shoving it up there, especially if it gets longer. It's just going to become a problem, because then if they happen to fall out of my nostril, then it's like, what is that? It looks like noodles falling out of your nose all the time, and I don't have time for noodles. I do enjoy spaghetti, some meatballs. I'm a big fan of that. I just don't need it flying out of my nose. So that's kind of, hey man, this is 41, right? This is where I'm at. So all the younger folks listening to this show, get ready. Take care of your stuff, man. Take care of your shit before, because you get some weird stuff happening as you get older. You think, oh yeah, I know. You'll start to slow down. Your knees will start popping, creaking. Yeah, all those things. All of that is true. You're also going to have long-ass nose hairs that you could decide whether to braid or not, or you can just do the hot wax sticks and yank them out altogether. I think that I'm leaning that way. Because if I can't cure the Crohn's disease, I might as well fix my long-ass nose hair problem, at least for the time being. And, some of you guys are going to get long-ass, all this ear hair, too. I don't get a lot of that. I do get one or two. I get, one strand. I'm not like one or two patches. No, I get one or two strands of and long ear hair, and it's just flapping in the wind. I do yank that. Because that's weird. And the eyebrows too. And they're starting to come in different colors. I have red hair. It's starting, my chin, it's starting to be white. And in my eyebrows, it is starting to be white or black. Now, the black I can only assume is related to the Crohn's disease. But the white makes a whole heck of a lot of sense, because my hair won't gray. It's just going to go white someday. And they say it starts in your chin, so here I am. I'm well on my way now. 41 years old, and 84th episode of Laugh With Me, and I'm finally getting that white hair up in my chin. So, I'm going to take care of the nose problem before it's white in there. And then people are like, what do you got in your nose, brother? Just Crohn's disease.